Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the Universal Select Wave 3 Metaluna Mutant. And if you're like me when Wave 3 of Universal Select came out, and we're like, what the hell is the Metaluna Mutant? Well, it's an alien creature from the movie This Island Earth. And if you happen to be like me and track down the movie This Island Earth and watch it, you're probably sitting there thinking, where the hell is the Metaluna Mutant? It's because this thing shows up at the very tail end of the film. And I'll say right off the bat, I do not recommend the movie in the least. Most of these horror figures Universal Select has put out, I've been a big supporter of those classic films. This is not one of them. Which is why we're kind of backtracking here, because I reviewed those other figures from this wave when they came out, when they were brand new. And it took me a while and a deal on eBay to finally break down and get this one. The Metaluna Mutant does come with a display base. It's full of rubble and hoses and stuff. They have a little disc back here that I think is supposed to be reminiscent of the controls they have on the machines. This is the Toys R Us version, the simplified version. The bigger version came with the weird communicator thing that the aliens tricked the humans into building at the beginning of the film, and we see later on in the film as well. Kind of glad I didn't get that because it's a bit of a shelf hog, and no, don't need that. This display base doesn't even work particularly well. It does have the two pegs, but they seem a little too small to really support the Metaluna Mutant, and he really just falls off this every time I try to put him on it. While I have no real affection for this character or nostalgia for this character, I gotta say they did do a really cool job sculpting and painting this piece. I do like the detail in it. He's got a gigantic freaking head with a big bulging brain out of the top. You see all the kind of red veiny type things going around and circling his black eyes. And this other section here where the mouth is, I guess, that's kind of weird looking. It looks like it should be translucent, but it's not. But the overall sculpting here is pretty well done. There are some seams going through the head just because it's so big. Going down onto the shoulders, we have a rubberized cap over here, giving him some big bulky shoulder blades. This kind of red tendony piece going across the chest, and that goes down onto this backpack looking piece. They are supposed to be similar to insects, so I don't know if it's supposed to cover wings or something like that back here. Entire mid-torso is this kind of scaly look where they point down. There's some nice kind of detailing in there. The arms have more that veiny type look, the blue texturized paint, and then it continues on over to the clawed hand, which looks pretty nice. I like the kind of yellowy orange brown color they painted the claw itself. It's one of the few things on here that's not blue or red, so it's kind of nice to have a different color thrown in there. We do have the belt down here, has a little symbol for the Metaluna people. It's a shinier red that follows the shape of the torso. And then because they ran out of time and budget, this alien's wearing pants. So we have these teal pants with some good wrinkles in them. Now watching the film, it looked like these pants were the similar color to the rest of the mutant, that similar blue color. They were supposed to actually be sculpted and crazy just like his arms, but that didn't work out. Though I must admit I didn't do enough research to know if the movie was actually shot in color or if the version I had was colorized. So the coloration of the pants might not actually even really matter. Going on to the bottom here, we have the kind of veins coming up from the cuff of the pants. We have the foot, big claws on it, kind of a webbed toe in there. And then we do have some detail on the bottom of the foot as well, along with the peg holes. As you might have seen as I was going through the figure, the joints on my figure are very, very loose. I don't know if they were all like this or if it's just a result of getting this off eBay, but he does have a ball joint at the neck. It doesn't move a whole lot, barely moves up or down just because it's limited by the giant head. It will rotate a little bit side to side, but still not much there. We have cut joints at the shoulders, which also don't move much because they're stopped by this big rubberized piece, giving him the shoulder sculpt. Down here in the arms, we do have two pin socket joints, one at the upper arm that will allow it to bend and rotate, and then one kind of at the mid arm that will let it bend and rotate as well. Thought there might be a joint here at the end, but no such luck. I guess how this basically works out, this would be the upper arm of the actor, the forearm of the actor, and this would be the wrist right here with these long extended claws coming off of it. So that's really your wrist joint back here. There is no waist swivel or anything like that. The leg joints are that kind of DC Universe style, so they'll go pretty far forward, not too far back, and then go out to the side of an upper thigh cut with a single jointed knee that bends about 45 degrees, maybe actually less than that. And then we have a swivel at the foot. The way it's sculpted looks like it should be a ball joint, but all I can get it to do is swivel very loosely. For a size comparison, here we have the Metaluna Mutant next to a Predator, and you can see the Metaluna Mutant's actually taller than a Predator. He is a very large figure, and I do wonder if it being a large figure with a big chunky head and a big chunky upper torso is why the legs are so damn loose on it. But as far as horror characters go in this scale, it's probably one of the largest I have without being a deluxe piece. And, well, I can't recommend this figure. It's hurt by the fact that the joints are so loose, but there's also a lot of very limited articulation on this piece, and just nothing about it excites me. Now, this is coming from a weird place because usually every character in this line I have some nostalgia for. Even in cases where it's the Abbott and Costello version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it's still freaking Boris Karloff, and I'm familiar with the character, if not that particular incarnation. This, I had no nostalgia for. I didn't know the movie existed up until the point this figure came out, and this is one of those pieces that Universal Select was starting to go into, this along with the Mole Man, which I still haven't picked up either. That makes me very happy. They seem to have put the brakes on these more obscure characters. They're going to sit around as peg warmers and most likely kill the line, and that now they're starting to go back and do better versions of their earlier releases. There still are other characters I think they have plenty of room to do and take on, but things like the Metaluna Mutant I think are a definite pass. But let me know, if you're a fan of this movie, if this is maybe something you grew up with and enjoyed, what do you think of this figure? Do you think it's worth getting? Or are my feelings pretty justified here? Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been the Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.